In previous video, we discussed about Java basic built-in data type, that is primitive data type, which are used in order to store simple single value data inside a Java program. Now in this video, we will discuss about a reference data type. So let us understand what exactly the reference data types are. Reference data types are also known as non-primitive or derived data types, and they are known as non-primitive or derived data types because they are not actually present inside a Java as primitive data type. What does it mean? That as you know that when we install a Java program, we have with Java program come with a facility that we can store or create some data using some keywords like int, float, characters, which are actually the inbuilt type of data defined in your Java. But instead of it, if I want to store some complex data structure, that is, I want to store information of a person grouped together in single variable, say class. So that type of data is known as a reference data type, and they are made from primitive data types. So when we are discussing about reference data type, Java provides us three defined structures like classes, arrays, and strings in order to define a reference data type. Classes create in order to customize a entity so that we can group together information of single student or a book or any real world object in a single structure. Arrays are used in order to store multiple values like list of items, and strings can store the sequence of characters inside it. Strings are actually a defined structure inside a Java or a class inside a Java, which is used in order to store a group of characters together in a single variable. They are also known as reference data type because they are not storing the value directly inside it. As you know that when we are using primitive data type, the data type is storing value directly inside it. Instead, a reference data type is storing the address of the reference data type is storing the address of the object in memory. In previous video, we used kitchen container analogy to understand the concept of primitive data type. As you know that in a kitchen, we have a container which we are using in order to store sugar. So we fill sugar inside a container and label it as a sugar. In a similar way, we have a container named A or a variable inside which I have to store a data type of type int and its value is 10. So we store a value 10 inside a container named A, a variable. So as you understand that how to store a primitive data type, let us understand how we are going to work with a reference data type. You are all visit to your college library or school library and ask a librarian to issue a book. Suppose I go to my college library and ask my librarian that I want to issue a book named Java Programming. So is it possible for my librarian to issue me a book directly? No, it is not possible because library have numbers of books present inside it. So a simple thing a librarian always used to do it, that they used to keep a card, a library card in which they keep the place where they kept the book. Say in a library there are bookshelves and number of racks. So in your library, Java programming book is stored in bookshelf rack number 5. So when I visit to my librarian and say that, hey, I want to issue a book named Java Programming, they refer to the library card, which is actually a reference card. And this card tells me that your Java programming book is present at shelf number 5, rack number 5 of bookshelf. So she or he direct me to go there and find out the book so that they can issue me. So thus the card of the library work as a reference card pointing towards the place where my book is stored. In a similar way, in a Java, my reference variable act as a card of a library which is used in order to store the address of actual value stored inside a memory. So let us understand it how it works. So suppose I have a string class. I want to say that in order to store a sequence of character in a Java, we are using a class or defined structure named string. So we have a string name, a class name string, and I declare a variable, say book, as a reference variable to it, and I store a value Java programming inside it. So what happens when I create a class string and store a value Java programming inside it, the value Java programming will go and save somewhere inside a memory. Say that address of memory is 1026. And then when I create a reference variable book, this value 1026 gets stored inside this variable named book. So when I create this reference variable, my memory address gets stored inside it, and the time in programming when I want to retrieve the details of string I have stored, I will go and use this variable name book to retrieve the value stored inside it. So let us understand concept how it works. When I create a string and write Java programming, an object is created. An object is created like in my shelf book Java programming is a object, and in my memory this object, this string Java programming, is stored in memory address say 1026. In a similar way, my librarian has stored my book name Java programming at rack number 5. As my librarian has written in card that book Java programming is stored at rack number 5, in a similar way, my created object, that is book, has stored the actual value 1026 inside it. So reference variable store my memory address. You can see the diagram here. You can see that Java programming book is at shelf and book has stored the address 1026. So you can understand how reference variable is storing the address. Now let us go practically to the program to understand. And previously, in previous example, we have print some addresses and strings. So I just remove all this and I will write here string book equal to Java programming followed by semicolon, and here I will write, I want to retrieve the address of the book. So book name is, and here I will write plus and it is book. So I save it using Control S and let you can say book name is Java programming. So what happens internally? This is a reference data type, and what happens internally? My book address is stored in a variable name book, and I access this value using this variable book. So in this way, understand the concept of